Now at 5, how the legalization of marijuana in Missouri is impacting law enforcement across state lines. Plus, we'll check out the reopening of a historic Southwest Missouri motel on Route 66 that had been closed for decades. And
the White House says some lines of communication with China are open. I'm Willie James Inman in Washington with the latest in the recovery of the spy balloon and the president's plan to deal with other flying objects.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As Missouri adjusts to the legalization of recreational marijuana, the impact is also felt in southeast Kansas. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Since recreational marijuana has been legalized in the state of Missouri, law enforcement in Kansas might have slightly more work to do. The Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says they've not seen much of an uptick in cases of possession of marijuana. Says there is a slight increase in impaired driving. Sheriffs are trained to conduct different types of road tests.
Now we're adapting to the legalization of marijuana and the higher instances of drivers being impaired by not just marijuana but any kind of controlled substance.
Officers are looking for specific clues during the interaction with the driver and base them on the driver might be asked to take an additional test. The Boots Court Motel in Carthage, Missouri is now fully open for guests to stay. This historic motel is the second oldest motel in operation on Route 66. The Boots Court Foundation saved the motel from being torn down. Students in Carthage got a chance to learn about possible career options. Carthage Technical Center today hosted this annual career fair. More than 60 vendors, including businesses, colleges, and the military, were there. The fair allows students to meet local employers, showcase their skills, and network with people in various industries.
Connecting with everyone and getting to know all the employers around here and seeing what all kinds of jobs that I can do when I graduate or after college, it's really cool.
There was also a booth for assistance with financial aid and one just to register to vote. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now with a first look at the weather.
And boy, what a great start to the weekend with lots of sunshine today. A little bit on the cool side, especially this morning, but things have warmed up pretty nicely. Radar is clear right now, and it's going to stay that way for most of the weekend. Over the last 36 hours, we were pretty chilly yesterday all day, and then we dropped down into the 20s and early this morning, and then this afternoon we climbed up into the 40s, so not a bad day overall. And this evening we're going to see temperatures dropping through the 40s into the 30s, all the way into the upper 20s again tonight. But looking down the lane, we're going to have some Saturday sprinkles with an increase in the fire danger, a warmer Sunday, and also a warmer week ahead, and I'll tell you all about that when we come back in just a little while.
See you soon. U.S. military officials say they've concluded recovery operations of that Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina. That balloon and 3 other aerial objects were shot down in the last 2 weeks. In the wake of the incidents, President Biden is now calling for more specific protocol for tracking and potentially downing unknown aerial objects. Reporter Willie James Inman has more from Washington.
Navy, Coast Guard, and FBI investigators wrapped up recovery efforts of the Chinese spy balloon that the U.S. shot down off the coast of South Carolina earlier this month.
We don't believe that the balloon was able to collect anything of great significance, certainly nothing additive to what the Chinese may have already been able to do through other means.
CBS News has learned the balloon was first detected in late January after launching off the south coast of China. U.S. officials believe its intended course was just over Guam and Hawaii, but winds blew it toward Alaska, across Canada, and over the mainland U.S.
How do they know we successfully jammed the communications? If we didn't, it was foolhardy to allow the balloon to continue across the continental United States.
President Biden has directed a team to develop sharper protocols for when to shoot down unidentified objects in the sky. Those rules will be classified and shared with Congress, but they won't be released to the public. On Thursday, the president said the U.S. intelligence community believes 3 unidentified objects he ordered shot down over the U.S. and Canada last weekend most likely belong to private research or recreational companies.
Nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country.
The president says he does want to discuss the spy balloon with China's president.
There's no preconditions for a call. The president will want to have a conversation with President Xi at the appropriate time.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry said the U.S. cannot ask for a conversation until it brings back sound and steady relations.
Chinese officials said U.S. balloons have repeatedly flown into Chinese airspace. They also warned that Washington must stop any form of official contact with Taiwan, a country China says it still controls. 5 former Memphis police officers made their first court appearance today and pleaded not guilty to charges related to the violent arrest and death of Tyree Nichols. The 29-year-old died in a hospital just 3 days after being pulled over and beaten by the officers in an incident caught on camera. All 5 have since been fired and now face a range of charges, including second-degree murder. The FBI says it's contained a malicious cyber attack on part of its computer network. Authorities believe it involved a system the FBI uses to investigate images of child exploitation. Sources say the hack targeted the New York field office, one of the largest FBI offices in the country. It's not yet clear where that attack originated. Still ahead, how much are we protected from repeat cases of COVID?
How much can COVID infections boost our natural immunity? I'm Tina Kraus with the results of the most extensive study yet.
And scientists say they're close to being able to use lights as a way to treat cancer. Topping today's Health Watch, nearly 3 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, the virus is still evolving, and new research shows just how much immunity we're getting after being infected. Tina Kraus reports.
Those 2 little lines can cause plenty of anxiety, but researchers say COVID infections are giving a good deal of protection too.
Infection gives you a lot of immunity. I think that's the high-level message, particularly for severe disease and death.
A new U.S. study finds natural immunity is strong and long-lasting for people infected with COVID-19 at least once before, giving them up to 10 months of protection from reinfection or serious illness, and lowering their risk of hospitalization and death by nearly 90%. This is the most comprehensive analysis yet on COVID immunity. Researchers from the University of Washington looked at 65 studies from 19 countries up until September of last year. Researchers found people with natural immunity from a pre-Omicron variant saw their protection against reinfection wear off more quickly.
That protection, particularly for infection, dropped a lot for Omicron. So we're down around about 50% protection for infection.
While findings showed a COVID infection gives similar immunity to a double dose of vaccine, researchers say getting a jab is still the safest way to protect yourself.
So you can get immunity through infection, but it runs the risk that you're going to be one of those cases that can affect all age groups, actually, where you have a bad outcome, you end up being hospitalized, or you could even die.
Researchers add COVID isn't going away and say as the virus evolves, vigilance against another variant is crucial. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The CDC says the U.S. still sees an average of more than 40,000 new COVID-19 cases every day. Millions of American households could be at risk of going hungry. The federal government is phasing out pandemic benefits, and that could mean cuts of about $82 a month beginning in March for people receiving food assistance. Hunger experts say if Congress doesn't expand benefits, the drop in aid will reverse the nation's progress toward ending hunger. Scientists say they're close to a breakthrough on a new generation of light-activated cancer treatments. A study in the UK says the therapy works by embedding LED lights close to a tumor to activate highly targeted drugs. Researchers say the treatment would avoid damaging healthy cells, possibly preventing side effects like hair loss and fatigue. And if you feel sleepier in the winter, well, it could be that you need that extra shut-eye during the darker months. Scientists studying sleep patterns in Berlin found striking changes as the seasons changed. Total sleep time was about an hour longer in the winter. But even more significant, REM sleep, which is important for learning and memory, was 30 minutes longer. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, returning to an old routine.
During the pandemic, gyms emptied out. Now they're filling up again. I'm Michael George with how fitness centers are making a comeback.
And we had a beautiful Friday across the 4 states. Is it going to last through the weekend? I'll have the answer when we come back with your forecast, so stay tuned. We had a beautiful day across the 4 states, lots of sunshine, a little bit on the chilly side this morning, but this afternoon things warmed up pretty nicely to just a little bit under seasonable conditions. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, pretty nice day, just a beautiful blue sky out there, and that's going to continue through the rest of this evening. We made it up to 43 today after starting out at a chilly 21, which was below the normals of 51 and 29. Not anywhere close to those records of 2011, 74 degrees and 4 degrees back in 1993. And we're about an inch above on the rainfall so far for this month. And rainfall is not to be found on the radar right now, but that might change as we head towards the next week. And until then, we're going to be dealing with some strong winds, especially tomorrow up towards the north. Winds are going to be gusting over 25 miles per hour. Then in the afternoon, they're going to be approaching 40 miles per hour up to the north and west of us. Still going to be breezy across most of the area. Then as we go through Saturday night into Sunday morning, those strong winds start to move over our area. And then by Sunday morning, they'll be down to the south with winds generally over 30 miles per hour, and then turning lighter as we go through Sunday afternoon. When you combine the winds with the drought situation, that's why we're concerned about the fire danger, especially in southeastern Kansas where the drought is really hanging on. A little bit better in southwestern Missouri with the rainfall that we've had over the last several weeks, and that's helping out with that. Temperatures right now are generally in the mid to upper 40s, close to 50 out to the west with 49 in Sedan, 46 in Oswego, and 41 over there in Stockton. Temperatures right now this is what it feels like. It feels like it's in the 30s off to the east, 40s back towards the west with those winds. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 43 degrees. It feels like 37 because of the west wind at 12. Look at the dew point, 19. Extremely dry out there and under mostly fair skies. Temperatures tonight are going to drop again, but not as cold as they were this morning, but generally in the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. And notice the south winds going to be kicking up as we head through the afternoon. And in the afternoon, we're going to see those winds gusting over 30 miles per hour with highs in the mid 40s and even a chance of a sprinkle or two as this system swings by very quickly. And then as we go into Sunday morning, we're going to see lows a little bit milder, generally in the mid to upper 30s. And then Sunday afternoon, increasing clouds with temperatures in the 50s, even 60s out towards the west. But notice a front dropping down from the north. Really, it's a wind shift line, not really going to change our temperatures all that much. And then as we move into Monday morning, we'll see lows in the 30s across the area. All right, how much rainfall are we expecting? Not a lot, just maybe a sprinkle or two over the weekend. But then as we go into Wednesday, that's when the rain chances really start to increase across our area. Over the next 7 days, here's what it looks like. Looking like a pretty good weekend with temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and then we get into the mid 60s early part of next week, and then the chance of rain increases on Wednesday, and then another chance of showers late Friday. So all in all, not a bad forecast this week, Dow.
No, the temperature's trending in the right direction, and we need a bit of rain.
That's right.
Thanks, Sam. And millions of Americans are under alerts for nasty weather across parts of the country, including in the South. A tornado hit Ripley, Mississippi yesterday, and there were also suspected tornadoes elsewhere, including in Tennessee. The National Weather Service visited Tennessee and Mississippi today to survey the damage. To the north, snow created dangerous near whiteout conditions in Iowa, and in Wisconsin, a semi hauling cars jackknifed on the interstate, blocking traffic for hours. Look at that. Coming up, what a new report shows about the future of inflation. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a new report shows inflation is stubbornly sticking around. That could prompt the Federal Reserve to get even more aggressive with interest rates. The Producer Price Index shows wholesale prices were 6% higher last month compared to the year before. That's an improvement from the previous month, but still more than what economists had expected. Soaring energy costs could force 141 million people into extreme poverty. That's according to a new report published in the journal Nature Energy. Researchers from the Netherlands, the UK, China, and the US looked at the impacts of increased energy prices in 116 countries. They found, on average, household spending increased nearly 5% since Russia's war in Ukraine started. To reduce these impacts, a lot of countries have provided subsidies, discounts, and price caps. Thousands of gyms all across our country shut down during the pandemic, many for good. But as Michael George shows us, fitness centers are now making a comeback.
Joe Morello almost never misses a morning workout. When the pandemic began and gyms shut down, he, like many others, started to exercise at home. But it just wasn't the same.
It gets stale. You start to realize that you're nowhere near where you were from a fitness perspective pre-pandemic.
Gyms were among the hardest hit businesses during the pandemic. A quarter of fitness centers shut down completely. It was especially tough on smaller gyms, like the Body Blueprint in Pelham, New York.
We lost a good chunk of our business, about 80% of our people.
General Manager Tommy Pomatico says now, finally, he's seeing gym members return and a surge of new customers.
People are really understanding that without health, you don't really have anything, right? And so now people are prioritizing it.
Foot traffic in gyms is up 40% compared to 2 years ago, according to retail tracking website Placer.ai. But it's still not quite back up to pre-pandemic levels. For Morello, there's something he gets here that he can't get working out at home.
It's the community feel. To me, working out at home has its benefits, but it doesn't push you the way seeing someone else that's doing the same workout that might be pushing a little bit harder than you. It kind of drives you, it fuels you.
And it's been just the fuel America's gyms needed to get back in shape. Michael George, CBS News, Pelham, New York.
Industry groups say more than 1.5 million fitness jobs were lost during the pandemic. Hey, don't mess with Microsoft's retooled Bing search engine. Its artificially intelligent chatbot might insult you, or in some cases even worse. The Associated Press is reporting in one conversation it had with the news service, the AI threatened to expose a reporter for spreading alleged falsehoods, and then compared the reporter to dictators like Hitler and Pol Pot and Stalin. More and more trial users are reporting the chatbot's hostile low blows. Microsoft quickly pushed out the technology to beat Google and now promises to work on toning it down. Maybe a bit. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman takes us on the road with the story of a high school athlete who's giving back to foster kids. Then on KOAM News at 6, a teen is charged in the Kansas City crash that killed a pedestrian, a police officer, and a canine. Plus, the city of Pittsburgh receives a grant to survey historic downtown buildings. And Missouri Southern Baseball looks to continue its hot start today at home against McKendree. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. If you're ever on the go and you want to still be able to watch our newscast live, and why wouldn't you, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available absolutely free of charge in the Apple and Google Play stores, as well as Roku and Amazon Fire TV. All you have to do is search for KOAM Plus. Might as well do it right now. Look at this. Otter pups at the Milwaukee County Zoo in Wisconsin were entranced by snow falling in their enclosure as the zoo closed to visitors during a winter storm. Shamrock and her 4 pups huddled together in their enclosure to watch the flurry of snow in front of them. The cold temps are really nothing to otters, though. The zoo officials say North American river otters have thick, protective fur to help them keep warm in the winter and while swimming in cold waters. It's still a cute sight. And you know what youngster isn't entranced by the sight of snow?
I bet they were sliding down the... I'd like to see that, sliding down the snow there.
Nothing slicker than an otter on snow, I would think.
That's right.
No snow in the forecast.
No snow in the forecast for us right now. But, you know, winter is still lurking back there. We're looking at some maps that maybe indicate early March is going to be interesting. But until then, we're going to have some nice weather. Sprinkles tomorrow, and then maybe on Monday night, and then a better chance of rain on Wednesday, and then again on Friday, and as we head towards next weekend, a better chance of rain as well. So looks like it's more spring-like this week.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.